All right, what's going on, everybody? I'm just doing a video where I'm going to talk about when we believe things and we say that these things are so special and they have like some kind of meaning to them and stuff. I just can't understand what is so special about believing in something. I can't understand why we think that believing is going to do something for us or do anything really. Everybody believes in something. Everybody says that there's something after life, and everybody says that they believe that this will happen if they do this thing, or if they say this prayer, this will happen. If you say a prayer before you travel somewhere and you say, "Dear Lord, please get me from here to where I'm going," doesn't He already know that you have to go from this place to that place? If God's really there, like why would God need you to pray a prayer like that? See, this is what I don't understand with so many things, and people use excuses to try to use to prove these things. And I'm never trying to prove anything to anybody. I'm a human being. I came into this world from my mother. I was told these things generation after generation. It was passed down, and I was told these things. And some of these things I did believe myself, and I fell for a lot of stuff. But then as I got older, I did my own research and I looked into things for myself, and you find out a lot of stuff when you do research for yourself. And I'm just at this time in my life where believing doesn't mean anything. I mean, I'm just going to use some scriptures because I'm talking to religious people, I'm talking to non-religious people, I'm talking to people that don't believe in a God, I'm talking to people that believe in a God. But it even says the demons tremble. The demons believe and tremble. So what is your believing doing anything? It's extra baggage in your head, if you ask me. To me, it was always extra baggage. It was always just something else that I had to hold on to and I had to make up for, and then, say another prayer for. And like nowadays, if I see my mom or something and she comes down here to see me and we're together, in my mind I say, please let my mom get home safe. But I don't say a prayer for it because doesn't God already know if God is God? I mean, here's what I'm trying to say. If God is this all powerful being and He knows everything, and He knows everything that's going to happen, and He made all of this, or God made all this. I say He because I'm so used to God the Father, the Son, Jesus Christ, and the Holy Spirit. And it's so hard for people to get this in their head that why does God need us to really do anything but to live our lives and live it the best that we can and do what we like to do in this life until we die? Like, why would we have to prove anything to God? Why would we have to pray to God and get on our knees and beg a God for stuff? Why? That is for your own benefit, you see? When you get on your knees, I did it many times. I did it many times before. I got on my knees because I needed help with something, and I meditated and to get me better. See, it was, yes, I was calling to God. I was begging God. I was saying, please help me. And, you know, nothing has really changed since I was doing that, and I don't do it no more. I'm actually more free that I don't do that, because I don't have this expectation to where I have to do that. Do you understand? I don't have to put this burden on me to pray. And I don't have to put this burden on me to ask God for what God already knows, if God already knows. You know, and then I know how religious people are. I know how spiritual people are. See, they're quick to get offended and think, oh, this guy, he's just trying to bring me down. He's just trying to talk me out of what I believe because he's going through something or other, or he can't see it in himself, you know, vice versa, etc., etc. But I've been there and done it. I did all this. I went a year and a half one time where I meditated for a year and a half. I didn't watch TV. All I did was go to work. I came home and I worked out and I meditated. I sat in a room and I thought of God, and I prayed to the Father, the Son, Jesus Christ, and the Holy Spirit. And you know what? It did teach me some things. It did make me more humble of a person. But there comes a point in your life where you realize that when you are working your way to this salvation thing, and you're constantly trying to prove that you are this good person and that you have such a big heart and you care and you worry and you stress yourself out about nothing. Like I said, that's why I call it extra baggage. Spirituality, I call it extra baggage. You know, I even say stuff like with my music, I'll say, if you ain't got the soul, if you ain't got it in you, then you ain't got it. You know, I even say these words, but when I say that, I'm metaphorically speaking about them. I'm not saying particularly the soul, because I don't know if I have a soul. I don't know. I never died. No one that's died ever told us what happens. And these people that say they went out of it and they seen these lights and they went through this stuff and they said they had some kind of encounter, you know, maybe they did have something happen, but it was in here. It was, you were out of it and something happened where you thought thoughts and you seen things, and they say they were on top of themselves looking down. You know, listen, it doesn't matter if that happened. I had so many things happen to me. I have like one of the craziest stories that I could tell you. Not a story, it's real life. Like, at my mother's house, we all thought that we were being attacked by demons, and like things were choking us in our sleep, and even my mom had the same dream as me one time where, now this is just, I'm just talking about when I was religious and I did all these things. This is what happens when you do these things, and it can happen, I know. But my mom had a dream where she was downstairs in her living room on her bed, and there was some demon faced dude smiling, going and looking where her curtain was and looking down at her with this evil smile. And I had the same exact dream, that I was sleeping right where she was and looking at the same exact thing. And she described it to me. She said it was smiling. It had these evil looking eyes. And I said, I seen the same thing in my dream. And see, she came upstairs and she was saying, Nathan, Nathan, in the dream. And see, as she was doing that, I was looking at what she was looking at in her dream. And then she woke me up and I screamed and I went, what? Because she scared me real bad and she was crying and everything. And these are the things that I went through. I had other things happen. I had something pound on the door at my house, but see, it could have been my neighbor. My neighbor could have been pounding on something. It could have been underground that shook the house and made it make a noise. I'm just saying, these are things that happen, and then we say that it is demonic, and we say that it is, the spiritual realm, and it might be. It might be. I am not saying that it isn't or it is. I don't know, and you don't know. So we assume things, and we say that it really is, but we really don't know. Do you understand? Do you understand what I mean? And there's a lot of other things that I could get into with that, but I'm not going to get into it. But a lot of crazy stuff happened. I mean, situations where it was like too good to be true. But then I asked myself over the years, well, I could have been having an epileptic seizure or something in my sleep. I had these things where I was laying back and I felt like I was getting choked, and there was hands in my mouth, and there was things grabbing my eyes and holding me down, and I couldn't get out of it. And then I would jump up and I'd be scared shitless, breathing, and then I'd turn on the lights or my TV. And I went through that stage for a long time. And then I had night terrors, really, really bad night terrors, where I was getting killed every night in my dreams. I was getting stabbed or shot or choked to death, or drowning, or getting chased by dudes in the woods in these crazy looking places that were all disfigured. I had that. I had 2 of those times happen. I had night terrors for, I don't know, about like a year and a half, 2 years. I don't even know exactly. I was so out of it and in a stupor, I don't even remember. It might have been 2.5, 3 years. I don't even know how long. It was pretty long. And then just a couple months ago, I was getting these night terrors again. Now, see, here's what I'm saying. If I was still religious and I was still the way that I was, I would think that I was getting attacked by demons or an entity, or the devil was playing tricks on my mind and tormenting me and, all this stuff. But the thing is, when I let that go, here's what happened. When I let all that stuff go and I stopped believing in it, it stopped happening. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't have that no more. Yes, I have that little bit of paranoia, when I go out to take a walk and it's dark and I go into a, dark corner of a street and I can't see that well. Yeah, everybody's a little paranoid that Michael Myers or Jason Voorhees or something's going to pop out of the dark. We all have that little bit in us, and we need that. We need that little bit of fear to keep us alert so that we can, sense things if they do happen, but you can't have too much of it. And see, this is what religion did to me. I had too much of it. Everything I thought was something I believed, and I said it was that thing, and I really didn't know. Like me and my brother, we were having a talk, and he was saying some of the stories that happened to him, and these are real life stories. This isn't a made up story that I'm telling you, but he had something lift the bed up while he was in the bed. Something lifted him right out of the bed, and then he had this thing whispering upstairs. And then my other brother Earl that died of an OD, my big brother Earl, he had many things happen. He died twice and came back to life. And he had something happen with him and his girlfriend there where he said that she was possessed trying to jump out of the third floor window and all kinds of crazy stuff. And she even said that there was something wrong with that house. And listen to this. Everybody that used to come to my house, everybody, they would not even want to come into our house where I used to live in Stilton, Pennsylvania. They didn't even want to come in there because the house was just spooky. You know what I mean? It had old tile floor, like that ugly green and turquoise blue and white with the like squares, and then a littler square, and it was, old and funky. Then the carpet was like a dark gray color, and it was all beat up and dirty. And I lived there for, about 24, 25 years of my life off and on. I went from my house down in Stilton on Front Street to my aunt's. My Aunt Vicky, she passed away from cancer. And I went from her house to my dad's to my mom's. Then there was a certain time where I was at my grandmother's and grandfather's house. There's a lot of things that happened that led me up to this point, and I can't even get into everything. I mean, there's other things that happened, but I believed so many things were happening, to me, and I thought that I was so special and like I was chosen to go through these sufferings and these pains, and like I was supposed to be the savior of my family and for my family. And I had so many of these delusions in my head. And I'm telling you, as my testimony, I got rid of that. It took me years to do this stuff. It took me years to look this stuff dead in the mirror at myself and take a deep look at my own life and admit my own faults, you see? And other people don't want to do that. They don't want to do that. They can say that, they're being truthful and, they're opening up and they're being vulnerable with you and all this and that. But you know what? They're really not. They're really not. I don't hold back anything. I'm telling you, I used to be a religious guy. I used to pray all the time. And I even find myself still in my mind saying, God help me. Jesus Christ help me. Holy Spirit help me. I still say that in my head. But I don't do it to where I'm believing and I'm over exaggerating it. It just comes once in a while. It's because when you're in a bad situation, you call out for help to the things that you believe and you think are real, when really there are things in this reality that can help you out of these situations. And the first thing is you have to get real with yourself. You got to get genuine with you. If you don't get genuine with you, no one is going to get genuine for you. If you don't do it for yourself, it's never going to happen. And I am not. My purpose of doing this is not to lead you astray in your life. But there is just things that we are believing too much, and I don't think we should believe anything at all. A believing is something that is not here in reality, and we don't know if when we die there is, a heaven all around us in another dimension, or, I don't know, some kind of place where it's better, and it just doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't. There's so many things that I can sit here and discuss about this to just, it sounds bad, but I can actually tear this apart. And I don't want to say that because I sound like I'm being boastful and I'm being prideful, but I'm really not. It's just there's so many things, like the concept of hell and who goes to hell. And if God knows everything, why would he make a hell? Why would he make a human being knowing that God's going to send them to hell? It doesn't make sense to me. Why would I make something or create something that I do to throw it down the toilet or to burn it forever? I would never do that. Whatever I make or do, I want it to be the best, and I want it to flourish, and I want it to make mistakes and fail, but get better from those mistakes and failing, not go to an eternal, hellfire or an eternal place of torment. That makes no sense. That's just one thing. But then it's hard to wrap my mind around this because I don't go for this whole evolution thing that we came from apes and monkeys. We were always humans is what I think. So where to go from that, I don't know. See what I'm saying? It's really, really hard to really say these things because with our human minds, we can't comprehend some of this stuff, and we are looking for an answer, and we are desperately seeking the answers to where there is no answers, you see? And we put ourselves in these positions where we want to know the answer for everything, and we think that we have answers, and we don't have answers. See, that's where you're fooling yourself, and that's where I talk about this stuff. And I want people to understand what I'm really doing when I do these videos. It's not to spite people. It's not to spit in people's faces. It's not to, make somebody go and hurt themselves or do something crazy. I don't do it for that. I do it to talk about real life situations and what may or may not be. And there's some kind of saying where it says, if you're not willing to, make mistakes or say that, you're not great, you'll never get better. I don't know the exact saying, but if you don't sit here, if you say that I am great, you will never get better. You'll never find things out. You'll never make mistakes. You'll never fail. You'll never learn from the mistakes and the failures that you did if you call yourself great and you're so prideful and you're so boastful and arrogant about your own life. Then you think you know everything. And like me, I don't know diddly shit. I don't know nothing. I know some things because I'm learning them now. I didn't learn them before. I didn't want to take the time to learn nothing because I didn't care about nothing really. All I cared about was the things that I was believing and other things. And you see, that failed me, but I didn't go back to that failure, you see. And it's really, really hard to describe this in words sometimes. I can't even put it together how I want to really describe it. It's just, I'm in reality. I came from my mother's womb. I'm here in reality, so I want to make the best of reality. This is where I am. I have no control. I can't go to another dimension, or I can't off myself or do something and go somewhere else, and because I don't know anything. And all I'm doing is I am looking to be the most comfortable I can be. I'm looking to better my craft and what I do with my music, my writing, the graphic design stuff. You know, I'm looking to better myself. And this is what each and every one of us should be doing. You know, but see, here's the thing though. Yet again, I'm getting back to the whole religion thing, because religious people will call that pride when you're trying to better yourself. There's a difference between confidence and bettering yourself, and there's a big difference between that and pride and ego. You see, there's a big difference. Pride and ego says, I'm going to do whatever I do. I don't care if I got to hurt you. I don't care what I got to do. I'm getting this thing. I'm doing this thing. And see, you'll step on anybody. You'll do whatever you have to do for something that you want, not need. You already have all your needs. I already have all my needs. See? And that's why I'm confident in my art. I am confident in what I do to show other people. My pride, I know how destructive my pride is. You know? I've been there and done that. I did that whole thing. I did that whole pride thing, the whole ego thing, where it was, you know, me talking about something that, like I said in my other videos, like where I was chasing the wind and looking for something that wasn't even there, and my pride was getting the best of me, and I was falling in this trap of things that weren't even there. I was just trying to put on a show and impress people because I thought they thought something of me. You know, it didn't make no sense at all. And it took me years to get out of this mode and to kind of chastise myself and discipline myself, if that's the word that I want to use. But I don't know how many people are willing to do that. And if you're not willing to do that, you're just not willing to do that. That's not your life. But I'm telling you how I live and how I lived and what I did to get to the spot I am right now. It wasn't an easy road at all. There was times where it was hell on earth, but I'm glad that I went through those things because it taught me stuff. And I'm 34 years old. And I'm not saying I'm better than nobody. You see? It's really hard to not... Once you see that you are prideful and you have this big ego, it's really hard not to be that way, because I can be that way so easy. I can sit here and start boasting about myself. I can put on this thing where I'm such the cool guy, and you know, I can do that, but I don't choose to do that because I don't need to do that now. I have other outlets that I can go by. And see, you might think that I'm boasting right now saying that, but it's not. I'm just confident in myself and what I do as an artist. That's it. Nothing else. And if we can't like ourselves, then how can we like other people? And how, if people, I was thinking about this yesterday, and this is what I wanted to say, and I'm going to end the video with this. If you don't like you, then I don't like you. If you don't like you, then I don't like you. How can't you not like you? How can you not like yourself? You are who you are. You were born to be who you are. There's not another person like you or me. If you like yourself and you like what you do, and that is what you do in life, then I will like you and I will see what you're doing, and then I will like you. You see, it's like a reflection in a mirror. If I don't like me, then that's like me looking back at myself saying, I don't like me and I don't like you. But if you like you, then I like me. You see, it's this mirror thing. So there was a time that I couldn't say that. I couldn't say that I liked myself. I couldn't look in a mirror because I was chasing that thing. I was chasing that pride and ego and trying to be something that I wasn't for everybody and trying to put on a facade, you see. And I just want somebody to understand this because I know it's important. I wouldn't be saying if it wasn't important. So you might have not understood anything that I said, but that's just that's just a little fraction of some of the things that, went on in my life and how I got up to this very moment. So, I'm not going to be saying the same thing in a year, 2 years. I might be doing a video in 5 years from now, and I could be talking about something completely different. But now I know what it is, and I know what I'm going for, and I have confidence in myself that I am going to do that. You know? So, the same to you. Same to you. Later.